Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to our Budgeting 101 workshop. My name is Ashley. I'm a CNES Scholars Peer Mentor.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia, and I'm also a CNES Scholars Peer Mentor.
And today we'll be talking to you about how you can budget your money responsibly.
All right, so here is an overview of the topics and questions we will go over throughout this presentation. So these include the cost of college, budgeting, scholarships and job opportunities, and any other questions you may have.
So to start off, we're going to do a little budgeting activity. So I want you all to take out a sheet of paper and list the 10 things that you spent money on. And you can go ahead and pause this video while you do so. And after you complete this list, I want you to circle all the items that you consider a priority. So this would be maybe gas, utilities, rent, tuition. And then you also underline the things that might be flexible, such as like a movie ticket, a concert ticket. And then I want you to analyze where your priorities lie. So did you spend more money on the things that you should prioritize, such as gas, or did you spend more money on flexible expenses such as that movie ticket? And so keeping a budget is important because it helps you to figure out where exactly your money is going and how much income you need to maintain your current lifestyle.
All right, so we all know college expenses can be intimidating. So here is a little summary of the cost of college. Typically, the dorms average around $6,000 to $17,000. School supplies around $1,300. Transportation is around $1,450. And of course, these tuition costs can vary due to other factors, such as if you have a car, if you decide to live off campus, or rent textbooks as well.
So this is just a breakdown of how expensive college can be. So as you can see, tuition is around $1,100, and then everything else kind of varies depending on where you live. So, if you live on campus, it's going to be a lot more expensive, about $10,000 more than if you were to live with your parents. And then all the other fees add up, such as textbooks, transportation, and personal expenses. And so we're going to go through this and hopefully help you to limit the amount that you spend at your time during UCR.
All right, so here are a few budgeting tips. Before you budget, first think about your priorities. Are you responsible for your own rent, your gas or groceries, or are you saving for a trip? And once you've got your priorities listed, you can now take action. But remember, it's more sustainable to make small lifestyle changes than to change all at once. And more importantly, by designing a budget that's more realistic, it'll be able to maintain that as it works for you better. And lastly, integrate your goals by tracking them on a spreadsheet or an application. It's always a great feeling to account for these accomplishments, like watching your savings increase over time. And we'll be getting more into these methods in the future slides.
So a lot of college students consider borrowing money through either loans or credit cards. And so before you do so, it's really important to do your homework on these things and know what types of fees you might expect. And so this workshop will not only go into detail on how to take loans or get a credit card, but we'll also discuss a few important introductory concepts, such as the ones you see on this slide. So some important definitions include an annual fee, which is the amount that you have to pay for a credit card, which usually covers cash or travel rewards. There's also late payment fees. And this is what happens, if you don't pay your credit card on time. So say your credit card is due at the beginning of the month and you pay it a few weeks later, you might encounter late payment fees where you have to pay additional money because you didn't spend or you didn't pay off your credit card in time. There's also over the limit fee. So say you're only approved for $1,000 and you spend more than that, you're gonna have to pay a fee for that as well. And finally, there's a cash advance fee. So you're charged for withdrawing money through your credit card. And so the diagram on the right, or the picture on the right, is an example of interest on a loan or credit card debt. So as you can see, there's a 13% annual interest rate. And so as you continuously pay it off, the interest is going to decrease because you owe less money. However, if you're not paying it off, that interest is going to continue and you're going to have to be paying a lot more money. So just be aware of this when you open up a new credit card or you sign up for a loan.
All right, so there are a few downsides to credit cards aside from the extra fees that Ashley mentioned. You'll be tempted to spend more than you physically have. Let's say you've been approved a $1,500 spending limit on your credit card. Of course, you'll be more likely to pay with this card as opposed to your debit card, which may have a little less money. But this doesn't mean that you should be spending anywhere near those $15 that you've been approved if you don't need to. Again, by spending more than you actually have, you might not be able to pay for your bills on time, and this in turn will affect your credit score, and you'll have to pay more interest due to your past behaviors. And to add in, UCR has ATMs located around the hub for banks like Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or School First.
So now what exactly is a credit score? So this is a 3-digit number that relates how likely you are to repay your debt. So it's used by banks and lenders to decide whether they'll approve you for a credit card or loan. And so the right hand side, the picture shows that if you have really good credit, which is at the bottom, you're actually going to have lower interest rates for, say, a mortgage, an auto loan rate. So if you're trying to buy a car, insurance, and credit cards. So essentially, you want to have a really good credit score. And by doing so, you actually have to pay off your credit cards in time, such as I talked about in the previous slide. You want to avoid those fees that are associated with credit cards. So you want to pay off your credit card on time. You don't want to withdraw too much money from your credit card, because if you do so and you have a habit of not repaying it back on time, then your credit score is going to decrease. And if you have poor credit, then you're going to have increase in interest. And so it's really important to know your credit score because it will impact your insurance, potential car purchases, credit card rates, and ability to qualify to rent a house or an apartment. So say you're looking to rent a house or an apartment right now, some realtors will actually ask you for your credit score as a college student. So it's really important to know what your credit score is. And if you want to get a free credit report, you can go on various websites such as the ones we have listed here.
Like we mentioned, an important component of budgeting is to keep track of your spending. So here are some popular budgeting apps like Toshi Finance or Left to Spend. A very popular one is the Mint app. And all of these applications are great because aside from budgeting, you can easily link your bank account to them and see where your money goes. For the picture on the left, this is a visualization of the Mint app, and as you can see, you're able to view where your money goes, such as gas and fuel, education expenses, or groceries. And it's really nice that it categorizes them for you. And you're also able to view your credit score as well, which is really helpful in terms of tracking it while you're repaying all of your bills.
And so there are also free budgeting spreadsheets available. And this is an example of one from Excel. And so you can actually use this in order to project your costs for the quarter or even for the school year. So if you know your tuition is the same throughout the school year and you're also getting scholarships, you can include that in your spreadsheet and just put it the same for each month. You can also put your rent if you're staying in a house or an apartment, and you can just add those total costs up along with additional spending costs that might include flexible priorities such as like that movie ticket or concert ticket that we talked about, maybe going out with friends, spending money on food. You can include that in the spreadsheet, and just to visualize where you're spending your money and where you could potentially save your money. So this is just a really great way to understand, in addition to, the budgeting apps that Sophia mentioned, to understand where exactly your money is going.
All right, so saving can seem like a simple task to do, but it can be pretty difficult in the long run to maintain or keep up with. So just take the time right now to reflect on some ways you can save money and write them down. You can also pause this video just to view the question and to think about it more.
So now we're going to talk about some tips in order to save money. So here are some examples. You can kind of brainstorm on your own as well. But first off, try to make your own coffee. So if you're really enthusiastic about drinking coffee, you know that you can't go without drinking it. That's okay. Just maybe try to limit the amount of money you spend on coffee. So instead of going to Starbucks every day or Coffee Bean on campus, maybe try to buy some coffee roasts and make that at home before you leave to school. Additionally, you can find a roommate or move in with family. So if you do find a roommate, you can actually split the rent of the house or the apartment that you're staying at. And maybe if you move in with family, you can live there for rent free, hopefully. And then you can also try the budgeting apps that Sophia mentioned to really keep you disciplined and motivated to save that money. And try meal prepping. This is a really great way in college because I know we're all really busy people and we don't really have time to make every meal every single day. So maybe try to meal prep, every Sunday, make a few meals for the week that you have ready for you in the fridge and take it to school with you. And so UCR has a few microwaves on campus, such as in the hub or the commuters lounge. So if you need to heat anything up, you can use that, so you don't spend money on, say, like Panda Express every day. You can also get a Riverside card for $15, and the right-hand side of those pictures show what kind of discounts you can get with that Riverside card. You can also save gas by using the Riverside Transport, and this is essentially just a bus that you can go on, and you can check the various times on, say, Google Maps or on their app, and you can see what times they depart and from what locations. You can also buy used textbooks instead of buying them brand new, say like at the bookstore. And it's really important to do so because this is a really great way to save money. So instead of buying, a textbook for $300, you can either rent one out or just buy it used. It's also important to know that you can rent books out from the library. So sometimes professors will have a certain book on reserve. And so essentially, this means that if you go to Rivera or Orbach, you can rent out that textbook for 3 hours. And in that 3 hours, you can read through it, maybe scan the pages, take notes on it. So you don't actually have to spend that money on the textbook itself. You can also try various websites to rent books. And so I use one called Abe Books, ABE Books. And this is one that where it basically sells books for a discounted price because they are used, but it says, they're in good condition and it comes really fast with shipping. You can also rent out laptops in the libraries as well. There's MacBook or HP laptops, depending on what you prefer. There's also desktops available there. And then you could also rent out chargers in the hub, if your laptop is dying or something like that.
All right, to continue, definitely take advantage of the amenities offered at UCR. This includes classes or lessons at the Student Rec Center, free tutoring at the Academic Resource Center, or maybe taking a stroll at the UCR Botanic Gardens. Next, I often make this mistake, but do not grocery shop when you're hungry. You'll be more likely to, as they say, eat with your eyes, and you'll end up purchasing more food than you need. Also, another great resource at UCR is the Art Pantry, where students are granted access with their ID. There are tons of free perishable goods and foods to take for those that may need it. Also, to shop at places with student discounts. There are many businesses around campus that offer discounts for UCR students, such as Lee's Sandwiches or local coffee shops. Next, each student has a $7 printing credit that renews each quarter through Wepa Printing. And you can find these printing stations all around campus, such as in libraries like Rivera or Orbach, Sproul or the Hub. Also, it's okay to skip out on vacations or concerts every once in a while and go for alternatives like volunteering, getting a job, or maybe an internship. Not only are you saving money, but you're polishing your resume and potentially making money as well. And lastly, college is expensive, and as tempting as it is to skip class, you should definitely go and attend since you're already paying for it.
So now we're going to talk about different ways that you can pay for the increasing cost of college. So UCR does offer various ways to pay for college. And in this presentation, we're just going to talk about a couple of them. And if you want to get a more in-depth view, you can look at the website ucr.edu to get further explanations.
So scholarships are a great way to aid in paying for school. It's essentially free money, and not many people take advantage of it, believe it or not. So here are some resources and links to refer to. As you can see here on this website, scholarship opportunities for CNAS students. There they have the due dates, who can apply, and important things to take note of. And a lot of these scholarships may be specific to your college, your major, or even clubs or organizations that you may be a part of as well.
Yeah, and so there's also on-campus employment to help pay for college. So there's about 6,000 student workers at UCR. And so the really great thing about being able to work on campus is that they do work around your schedule. It's very flexible. So they're obviously not going to schedule you when you have class. You can also be communicative with them and let them know, your employer know, say you're having a midterm coming up. You can let them know, and maybe they'll give you, some time off in order to study for that midterm, because they do understand that we're all students. And if we're working, it might be a little hard to balance the two. And so it's really important to get your studies done as well as, trying to work with that as well. So it's best to work about 10 to 15 hours per week, depending on where you work. As an on-campus employee, you're not able to work over 19.5 hours. So just keep that in mind. You can also search Handshake for different jobs that are on campus. This is a part of the Career Center, and Sophia is going to talk about that in the next slide. So this is a great way to understand what jobs are available, not only on campus, but off campus as well. And some additional perks for working on campus include, building a resume builder as well. So having that experience working with students, working with faculty, and you also, get to socialize with some of your peers, which is a really great time. And you can also qualify for work study.
Again, Handshake is a website through the Career Center, and you log in using your UCR Net ID. And here you'll be able to find jobs ranging from full-time, part-time, internship, volunteer, or summer opportunities. If you ever need help with writing a resume or cover letter, you can definitely check out the resume builder, like Ashley mentioned, on the Career Center website, or even attend a workshop, as I have in the past. I've also made an appointment and have had someone look over my resume to make sure everything was appropriate and filled out correctly. And here are some jobs unique to CNAS There are a wide range of peer mentors. Ashley and I, again, happen to be CNAS Scholars peer mentors. There are also peer mentors in Persist, Transition peer mentors, STEM peer mentors, and we also have the CNAS Scholars Fall peer mentors, peer advisors, and Persist peer advisors, in addition to becoming a grader for the NASC 93 course or becoming an office assistant in the advising center. So as you can see, there are tons of job opportunities on campus. You just have to go for them and apply to all those opportunities. And again, it could be really helpful in polishing resume and, like Ashley mentioned, in terms of work study as well.
So now we're going to talk about work study and your eligibility for it. And so you have to apply for FAFSA, which does start October 1st, and you have about 5 months to complete this document. And if you demonstrate a financial need as determined by the Financial Aid Office, you will be possibly awarded work study. And so if you are awarded this, then you do have to accept it via our web. And so once you accept it, you have to maintain what they call a satisfactory academic progress while you're working under this program. And this essentially is you have to maintain a 2.0 GPA or above. And so if you were awarded work study the previous year, you would have to have used it in order to qualify for this next year. So if you didn't use the funds the previous year, you might not actually be eligible to receive these future funds for the upcoming year.
Right. So lastly, UCR is amazing and provides all types of research opportunities that come with a stipend. And these stipends range from hundreds to thousands of dollars. So it's definitely a great opportunity to go after. And also it helps students network with other faculty, and you're also able to enhance your experience in these fields if you are interested in pursuing research. Some on-campus opportunities include the Chancellor's Research Fellowship, Research in Science and Engineering, or the RISE program, Mentoring Summer Research Internship Program, or the Maximizing Access to Research Careers, or MARC-U. And some other off-campus opportunities include summer research at other universities like Chapel Hill, Caltech, or even the Keck Graduate Institute. And again, there are other tons of research opportunities that you can find through a simple handshake search, or through LinkedIn, or maybe even utilizing the U Research portal offered by UCR.
All right, so that's all that we have for you today. So if you do have any questions, feel free to direct it to CNAS Scholars and they will answer questions for you. We hope that you learned something during this presentation and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.